What's going on, folks? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday. Got a lot of stuff going on, man. The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you for spending your Thursday night with me. Hey, mama. Mom number one out the limo. I see my boy Vince in the house. Got some people on the Facebooks. I need to start sending this out to Twitter too, probably. But in any case, got a great guest tonight. If you guys are like me, Chucks, what's going on, brother? Anthony, I see you, bro. Number 4 out the limo. I appreciate you. Rob Povia hits number 5. My first 5 out the limo. Good to see you guys. I appreciate you showing up, man. Got a great show for you tonight. What's up, twin? And as usual, all my people that are first out the limo, brought to you by Fan Up. Fan Up is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. You can win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, a $50 value. FanUp.app. Get it on and get it popping. What's going on, people? I just had an awesome conversation. I can't wait to get my first guest in. We're going to get started very quickly. It's a lot of stuff going on. Yes, we are going to talk about Lamar. Yes, we're going to talk about Jalen Hurts. Yes, we're going to talk about CJGJ and the stuff he's tweeting and, getting everybody all ruffled up and maybe he might leave. Should he stay? Should he go? All of that kind of stuff. We're going to get into it. But first, I want to bring on my guests. So hold tight. I'm going to bring them in right now. Hold tight.
Yeah, man, I'm just grinding, man. Just grinding away. Just trying to stay in the game. Obviously, we hang up the cleats. We got to figure out what we're gonna do. So,
indeed.
So
how did you get hooked up with the cooking thing, man? How did that happen?
I've been posting online, for like a year now. When COVID hit,
yeah,
barbecuing, and last February, this guy just hit me up on Facebook and said, "Hey, are you Mark McMillian?" And of course, I'm thinking that somebody's joking. It's like, "Hey, we want to cast you for a Gordon Ramsay show." And I'm thinking, like, dude, all I do is barbecue. Like, I don't cook like that. So he was like, "Hey, if you start working on your plating and dishes, I think there's a strong chance you'll have an opportunity to be on the show." So, people started noticing me changing up my dishes, cooking more. I would say, cuisine type dishes. Worked on my plating, and out of I think it was like 15,000 people that they
wow
show, and I was one of 24 that they selected, and then they cut us down to 18 for the final teams. And a lot of people don't know we were in London filming.
Really?
Yeah, they have you thinking we're in Vegas, but dude, we were in London, quarantine. Like it's a whole lot of stuff. There's a whole lot of stuff that went on behind us just cooking.
You know what? I saw something on social media. It was one of the other people on the show, and I guess they were sightseeing or whatever. Because I saw them with the London flag, and I was like, it confused me because I was like, wait a minute, that's the chick from the show.
Yeah,
but I didn't even know that, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if it's Gordon Ramsay is the dude, I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. He's from the UK. Yeah, that's his home turf.
Yeah. So it just started with you barbecuing, because I barbecue a lot, not as much as I used to, because of the pandemic and stuff like that. So I don't have too much family coming over, but same way, dude, in the backyard every chance I can get. I just bought a brisket from Sam's Club. I'm itching to get that thing on my smoker, man. Just itching to do it, man. Did you have any did you get any like endorsements or anything like that? What do you got?
Yeah, I do got some stuff coming in. Just hired a management team. I'll sign on the dotted line probably later on tonight. Because obviously after the show, just all kind of stuff just started coming about, and
I
just got to capitalize on the iron while it's hot. So I got a grill sponsor, cargo sponsor, and we're just obviously the management team. They're going to go out and get bigger sponsors. So I'm pretty pumped up for that.
Oh, dude, that'll work. Holla at your boy, man, because if you got some lump charcoal in there, holla at me.
Oh, I got
For
you.
real.
Yeah.
For real, dude. I could use that. So the one question I really wanted to know, what's Gordon Ramsay like in person? Because everybody know him from the other show. What's the other show where he Hell's Kitchen?
Hell's Kitchen, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? This was a different type of show. It was more like a mentorship show. You saw, my first episode, I dropped the plate, started a fire in the kitchen. Now, if that would have been any of his other shows, man, he would have cursed me up and down, probably threw me off the show. But Chef Arrington, Chef Blaze, they're three amazing chefs, and they kind of get after us a little bit, but for the most part, it's more of them teaching us and coaching us to be better. And that's one thing I agreed to. I said, I'm not going to do a show where he's belittling me or degrading me. I said, I'm just not going to do that. That ain't my reason. So I'm not doing that. I've been having a flashback. I'm a coach like that. I never like the coach to, curse me out or yell at me. I'll just figure it out. And if I don't get it done, then next man up. But, especially on national TV, I'm not going to be that guy that's going to be a meme on everybody's for years to come. But like I said, he was a great guy, man. He loves sports. He's a huge football fan. I knew he kind of took to me a little bit. Obviously, with the Chiefs and the Eagles being in the Super Bowl, nobody scripted this. And I told him when we were interviewing, so how cool would that be if the Eagles and the Chiefs end up in the Super Bowl and the show airs right after the Super Bowl on Fox? And it was like, hey, I was like, and then it happened. The amount of viewership that I, from both sides, both teams, was real positive. I think we broke a record for the number one reality show, like 15 million, something like, it was like crazy number. Like we had the number one reality show TV coming out because it was right after the Super Bowl. And,
because I remember seeing the ads. It was like right after.
Yeah, they did a really good job of promoting it. And then obviously the first guy they promoted was me, with the Eagles and with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that. And only, if you're going to help ratings, you're just going to help my brand as well. So
smart.
Yeah. So it was a great time, man. Like I said, he's a great dude, on and off camera.
Cool.
Obviously, people see him from the Hell's Kitchen and screaming and cursing, but at the show, man, he was real positive.
Yeah, because you see stuff like that, and to your point, man, you're like, listen, if somebody ever get in my face with some nonsense like that, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool though. Now, so was the show done at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
When the Super Bowl happened?
Yeah, the show was done. We wrapped up. Shoot, man, it's drawing a blank. Like I said, we started in February last year. The whole process.
Wow.
And, it's been going on. We had to be quiet for a long time. The only one that knew was, my sister and my son and my wife. So they're the only three that knew about me leaving, even being in London. My mom was texting and calling. She was like, "Why are you always calling at weird times of the night?" And, so I just had to keep it quiet. And you know how moms are, man. You tell mom,
absolutely.
I didn't tell nobody. She didn't tell the church. She didn't tell the people at the grocery store, and before you know it, everybody knows. So I had to keep it quiet. But like I said, man, I couldn't ask for a better opportunity, a better cast. Man, I'm sure if people continue to follow this cast, the amazing stories that these chefs have outside of cooking was beyond me. We didn't get a chance to hear that. You're just cooking, but see Chef Jama, who was eliminated 2 weeks ago, about being on dialysis and almost dying. So stuff like that. And then Chef Alex, I think Chef Alex got eliminated before me, who's actually an ICU doctor. This guy is saving lives. So being in the kitchen and losing, I was like, dude, your ceiling is way above a cooking show. So
right.
We have a group text, man, every morning. All 18 people chime in, so we're texting.
That's what's up.
Obviously, the show airs tonight again, so everybody's nervous. We know the outcome, but it still sucks that somebody has to go.
Yeah, that's cool though, man. Because I know I rewatched Ep 4, and they were talking about the girl that I guess a chef that helped her out when she had just had a kid, so she was going through a rough time, and it It was a Chinese chef that helped her out because she
Yeah.
ended up winning the competition that night. I was like, to your point, the stories behind the stories are the ones that are really, really interesting, man.
Yeah, and like I said, they're all great people. The young lady Michelle that's on our team, she was crying. You probably saw her crying in some episodes, and everybody's like, "Why is she always crying?" Then we find out she was pregnant. So we were like, "Well, that's why she was crying and so emotional all the time." So, that's so many twists and turns with this show. Obviously, I want people to continue to watch, not just because I'm gone. Continue to support these chefs because this is their livelihood. This is what a lot of these people do for a living. And like I said, it's $250,000 at stake for the winner.
Woo. It's a whole lot of hamburgers, bro.
Yeah, and briskets.
Absolutely, man. Because I know I was telling my nephew about you being on the show tonight, and he said, because he went to Timber Creek, and I think the one guy that was from Philly was his teacher at one point.
Oh, wow, Matt.
Yeah. So I was like, man, this is a small world around here, man.
Yeah, Matt.
It is a very small
guy,
world.
And they were telling me before, there's like, hey, we know what you do, we know you played, but we have another guy who's from Jersey. He was a huge Eagle fan, and I was like, I just went into the room with 17 other chefs. Like, they come in with their backpacks, their cookbooks. I'm thinking like, man, I am in it over my head right now. And, I ran into Matt and found out it was Matt, who's a huge Eagle fan. Great brother, man. Has his own barbecue business as well in Jersey. Looking forward to meeting up with him. I think in 2 months we'll be back in Philly and we'll be cooking together.
That's what's up.
With other chefs. So like seven different chefs that we're going to be cooking for some guests at this restaurant. More details coming soon.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Keep me posted with that, man, because I'm still in the South Jersey area, man. I'm still up this way.
Okay.
So definitely keep me posted with that, man. So I'm trying to follow in y'all footsteps, man, because it seemed like most of the people on the show were like social media cooks or had that type of background.
Yeah.
Are there any like professional chefs or just
everybody's
just like hobbyists?
Yeah, it's some professional chefs on there. Chef Shred's a professional chef. He's the tallest guy on the show. You can't miss him.
Yeah.
Chef Tucker, who's on my team, who saved my tail when I dropped the shrimp. She got the Chef Tucker. She is bad, bro. She never put out a bad dish. Like, she is always just calm, cool, collective in the kitchen. So there's a lot of really good cooks. Tiny, who's the youngest on the show, she's 18, who was in the basement, who cooked a cow tongue in 45 minutes, and she won the best dish. So she's so talented, man. And like I say, 8 years old, being on a platform like this with 3 amazing chefs judging her plates, and like I say, she just got out of high school, and she's
That's
already
crazy,
got her culinary degree. So there's Omi, who's Puerto Rican descent, who lives in Massachusetts, I believe. She's awesome. Her followers are great. It's just so many chefs that I had an opportunity to learn from, not just from because it was nothing about football, so which was great.
Right.
I don't want to talk about football. I want to learn what you guys are doing so I can continue to compete and stay in competition. So everybody was real helpful throughout the show. Like I said, me leaving, it sucked. And, I did cry.
For real.
I did cry, man, because I really felt close to this team.
Yeah.
As a team, when you go through a win and a loss, it brings you closer together, and, being quarantined, we were on a schedule. We get to the studio about 7. We don't leave till like 7 p.m. We're there all day. So I built a really good relationship with them, and, they never judged me from being a football player. They treated me just like anybody else. If I put out something crazy, they'll get on me. They'll put me in my place.
Get you in the film room.
Yeah. Put that ring down on me.
Absolutely. That's what's up, man. I wish I would have started cooking a long time ago, dude. Because now it's funny because I'm just now getting into seriously. Let me say it like that. Seriously into the YouTube thing. I had a podcast about 3-4 years ago before the pandemic, but I just didn't have time to do the video and all of that kind of stuff. And then when the pandemic hit, everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, let me talk about the stuff that I know. And I had a couple people ask me to be on what I'm doing now with A2D Radio. Somehow the guy got in touch with me. He was like, hey, you want to be on the show? And that turned into, hey, do you want your own show? I was like, yeah, that's what's up. So I've been doing this very similar to how you guys started, man. Just taking advantage of an opportunity and keeping it going, because it ain't nothing different. You talk about what you know. You don't pretend like you don't know, like you know something that you don't. Just kind of stay in your lane and keep it rocking, man. That's what's up, dude.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you as well, man. Like I said, life after football is not kind.
Nah.
It's a dirty side to life after football that a lot of people kind of don't want to talk about, but it's out there, and we look at what's going on in Baltimore right now. Who everybody thought was going to be the top free agent in free agency. Now sudden teams are saying we don't even want to try to get him before the deadline even opened up. So it's like at the end of the day, I tell these athletes, man, don't get it twisted. Those billionaires are going to hire who they want to hire. They're going to give money to who they want to hire. I don't care how many yards you rush for or threw for or caught. At the end of the day, they make the bottom decision. So get as much money as you can while you can.
While you can. Because the thing now, one of my videos the other day I put out is like, should Lamar get an agent? Absolutely. Man, you talking about life-changing generational type money.
Yeah.
You want the person representing you to be the best of the best, and then you let them do what they do.
Yeah.
I know you comfortable with moms, but if moms is not a lawyer or a negotiator, she shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And I think if he had an agent, this still would have been done by now. But he's doing what he got to do, man. And not to mention, on top of the ugly side, when all of that stuff happened with Damar Hamlin, in Cincinnati's where I'm from. So I got a chance to talk to a couple of brothers. I had them on the show. They actually went to the hospital and helped out Damar Hamlin's family, brought them money, got him clothes, brought him food, stuff like that. So they had a direct impact on that whole situation, man. And a couple of them guys were talking about, the issues they have and the depression they went through. A couple of guys even mentioned being suicidal and stuff like that. So to your point, man, you got to find something else to do, find something else to focus on, because you know how we get when we find something, we'll commit to it.
Yeah.
And we get that tunnel vision, man. And for some people, that's what they need.
Yeah. And like I said, hopefully, I know being on the show, hopefully they inspire other guys to go out and reach for it. Because when it popped up and everybody saw me on, my phone was blowing up. Everybody's like, dude, you're on a show with Gordon Ramsay,
Ramsay, dude.
I just once, like I said, once I figured out I was going to be on the show, man, I just locked in and just started cooking like 2-3 times a day. Fish to shrimp to chicken to beef to vegetables to trying to make homemade breads and noodles and stuff. So like you said, when we commit to something, man, it's just in our DNA to not stop until we reach our goal. And
yeah, man, just like working out, bro.
Yeah.
Just like working out. Do it every day. I know I got limited time, but before you go, is there anything that you wanted to talk about, promote, any events you got coming up, anything like that?
I'll be in Philadelphia June 20th to the 24th. I have my youth football camp for my foundation. It's called the Lift Foundation for kids that's being harassed and bullied. This will be my third annual camp in Philly, man. So I'm excited about that. So I'll have more information on my website at grillandmcmillan.com. You can purchase my infused olive oils, my barbecue sauce is on deck.
I'm gonna support, bro. I'm gonna support. Rest assured. I'm getting me some.
Yeah, it should be a couple of weeks. But like I said, man, I'm just blessed and honored to be in this position. I appreciate you allowing me the platform to be able to tell my little story and hopefully everybody out there that's going through something tough, or even if you're successful, you don't have to be going through anything tough. It's successful. I look on the outside. I still need coaching. I still need people to push and for my son to get on my nerves every now and then, to drive me a little bit extra and hear my mom say, how proud she is of me. That there's no greater feeling, man, to hear my mom say how proud she is. Obviously being drafted, that was a great moment. Playing in Philadelphia, playing for 8 years. Well, nobody gave me an opportunity or said he was too small, but to still be here and carry my family's legacy on, and hear my mom just say, "I am so proud of you. Continue to do what you do. Keep inspiring people, because I inspire her." My mom's 87 years old, and she said I'm inspiring her. So that makes me feel real good, man. And like I said, football aside, we're more than football players.
Absolutely.
We can't play forever, but whatever we do, man, we got to continue to support each other, whichever way we can. Football guys can be a little different. It can be a little greedy and want everything to themselves. But man, I'm all about sharing the wealth, and there's enough out there that we can all gather and learn from each other. And hopefully somebody out there that's maybe struggling with something. Hopefully this will cheer you up a little bit, because if little Mac can do it, anybody
can do it. You already know, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me, brother, man. It was good talking to you, man. Continued success, brother. I will definitely stay in touch with you via social media, man. Let me know when the briquettes and the lump charcoal is available. I'm definitely gonna get some of the olive oil and the barbecue sauce, man. I'm gonna hit you up, and I'm gonna post when I use it.
Okay,
I don't mess around. So
hey, I appreciate that, man. And when I come back in Philly for my camp, man, if you want to come out and help out with the kids, you're more than welcome. We'll be grilling as well.
Okay.
So we'll be grilling and feeding the kids, feeding the dads and the parents, and just trying to give them a little message as well. So you have an open invite, man, if you can fit it into your schedule to come on out and be a part of it.
I appreciate that, brother. All right, man. That's Mark McMillian, Mini Mac, in the house. And I got to be honest with you. I still tell people this story to this day. That day you and Herschel Walker had that 40-yard race. I still tell that story. All right, brother. I'm going to let you out of here, man. I appreciate you.
Right,
and thanks for coming on. I'll be in touch, man, because one of the things I want to do, I'm trying to get in touch with anybody. If you can get me into contact with somebody else, I'm trying to branch out, trying to get other former players from other parts of the city in the same situation. What else are you doing?
Yeah.
So get them on the show. We can talk about some things and we can make it happen, bro.
All right. Appreciate it, boss, man.
You got it. I appreciate you, man. Take care.
All right. You too.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I had the mute button on. That was my fault. User error. But I was telling the story of when Mark actually raced Herschel. Mark was jawing with him during practice, and because Mark was quick, Mark had quicks. He was 5'8", 5'9". He was a little dude, but he had the speed. And he just, him and Herschel kept going at it. Like they weren't like going at it, but they just, jaw jacking each other. And Herschel was just like, man, you don't want none of this. And finally kept going. So we settled it at the end of practice. We went on the other field and we had, we lined up about 20 yards apart and everybody was just lined up down the field for 40 yards a piece. So it literally looked like something in the movie. And we were hooping and hollering. People was putting money on the bet, on the race and all of that kind of stuff. And Herschel blew him out the water. Herschel blew him out of the water. So let me see here. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Let me see. Vince, with all the holes that he need to fill, I can't see them spending assets to move up. I see them trading the 30th. I see them trading the 30th pick. I think they're going to try to keep that 10th pick. And they're either going to get, if Witherspoon falls to them, if I think, in my opinion, would they reach for Joey Porter Jr.? Those, because I think those are the best two DBs in the draft right now. Witherspoon, Joey Porter Jr., and I know there's another guy, and I can't think of his name right now. So they do have some edge rushers, though. Maurice, to your point, what's the kid from Iowa? Van Ness, I think he is. He was turning some heads at the combines. Of course, what was the one kid? You got the tight end from Georgia. I think it was from. You got that kid Nolan Smith, who is a linebacker, the new hybrid linebacker / edge rusher. Ringo, yeah, Kelly Ringo. That's right. So it's, man, listen. Every year, Christian Gonzalez is that third one. Yes, thank you, Rodney. You know what? Last year, when I saw, Jordan Davis run his 40, and you're like 300 and something pounds, and he runs a 4.8, 360 pounds, and then you had that guy Richardson, the quarterback out of Florida. He's 244, and he runs a 4.3. And then you had that another linebacker run a sub 4.4. Man, they just get bigger and stronger. And it's funny because I remember when we were in the draft, now going back to 1993, they were telling us the same thing, how much faster and bigger we were than what they were used to seeing. And now, man, with the technology, with the nutrition, with the way people train, taking care of your bodies all year round, like, because we didn't do that, and just what we know now, man, these dudes, the times they're putting together is just, it's off the charts, man. It's off the charts. But we still got a lot of stuff going on, man. That Lamar Jackson thing is very interesting. Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones will, he's making more money than Lamar Jackson would have been with the franchise tag, which is funny to me. So, yeah, Maurice, that cornerback from Michigan. Yes, I saw that one. 4.27. When you talk about 4.27s and 4.25s, you getting in the Dion category. I think Dion was more like a 4.20. I haven't seen too many people that fast, but when you would 4.2 anything, that's ridiculously quick. I think did Gonzalez run that? Gonzalez ran a super. The quarterback from Michigan, I think Gonzalez ran a good time too. I think he ran a 4.29, I believe. I don't know. It was so many people just smoking that track, man, smoking it. And then your boy put the stamp on the whole combine. That tight end from Georgia, when he made that one-handed catch, and it was like, that was the mic drop moment right there for me, anyways, because that dude is a beast. So I'm interested, especially the story that people tend to forgot about was the kid that got that had to go back to Georgia because he got arrested. How is that going to affect the top 10? Because he would have been a top 3 pick easily. It looks like Richardson, the kid out of Florida at quarterback, and also that kid out of Kentucky, he turned some heads too. So it's going to be interesting who the top 5 is going to be must-see TV because, yeah, ain't no telling what's going to happen. Raj, I'm with you, dude. Rod Woodson and Darrell Green. Darrell Green, you know what? I knew Rod Woodson was fast. I didn't know he was that fast. I know Darrell Green was. Darrell Green had low 4.2 speed. Darrell Green, prime time. Who else? Obviously the cheetah. Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to think who else had like really, really low 4.2 times. It's there's a lot of people with the 4.3s. 4.3s is super fast. But I'm trying to think who else. Like just I'm trying to. Was Darrell Revis that fast? I don't remember his 40 times. I don't remember his 40. He probably had great speed, but I don't think he had low 4.2. Chris Johnson, yes, absolutely, Chris Johnson. Also, if you want to go back, what's his name? Played for the Chiefs. The human highlight reel, the video game. Dante Hall. Dante Hall had super quicks like that. What was Charles Woodson's? I didn't think Charles Woodson's Revis was 4.5. Okay, so he was just a good cover guy. He wasn't that super fast. I wonder what Charles Woodson's was. I think Charles Woodson's was a 4.3. But there's a lot of 4.3s. Yeah. That's a lot of people. But Rodney, I wanted to hit that. Carolina's going to draft that kid from the Gators, I think. I think they're looking for something like that. They want the next Cam Newton without the Cam Newton. Give me an order of Cam Newton, Holden Newton. That's what they want. They want that talent. They want that production. They want that size. They just don't want that ego. I have to look up. I haven't really heard too much about that kid. And I'm talking about like off the field stuff. Was he a diva? Ego issues, like stuff like that. I didn't hear anything about anything bad about the kid from Florida. So it's going to be a very interesting draft. I'm waiting to see what Howie's going to do with Jalen, because Jalen Hurts ain't doing nothing but sitting back and watching what's happening with Daniel Jones, watching what's happening with Carr, with Aaron Rodgers, and obviously the whole Lamar Jackson situation. The Lamar Jackson situation, the interesting thing about that is all of those teams that came out and said they were not interested in him. And you looked at those teams and you were like, how in the world can you say you're not interested in an elite level quarterback? The problem is all these teams are colluding. The owners are colluding because they don't want to give up a guaranteed contract. That's what all of this is about. Period. They don't want to give up the contract. So the further it goes along, the closer to the draft, you might see some things happen. And I think eventually somebody's going to break and offer him a contract, because can you imagine a healthy Lamar Jackson in San Francisco? A healthy Lamar Jackson in Washington? I don't want to see Lamar Jackson twice a year. Especially, we don't know what our defense is going to look like. I got to go back and watch tape on our new defensive coordinator to see what he was running, where he was before. I know he's a Fangio disciple, but we got to see what he's going to do on his own, because you got a lot of these guys that are living under the shadow of other people, and when they finally get the opportunity, all those notes they've been taking about the wrinkles that they would run, what they would do, now they got an opportunity to do that. Now they're running the show, and they want to run it their way. The one thing about Jonathan Gannon, yes, he choked in the biggest game, but think about it. He went out swinging his way. Because just imagine when you are in a situation and you're doing one thing one way. Maybe you have some troubles and you're just trying to grind through it. But if you change what you do and you get the same result, you always regret it. You always want to do things your way. You want to go out swinging your way. So credit to Gannon. He got out-coached in the Super Bowl, but he went out swinging his way. I respect him for that. I don't respect him for getting up out of here and not giving an interview, not saying nothing to the fans. That was kind of suspect, but it is what it is. He ain't our problem no more. But we got some holes to fill. Javon Hargrave, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Marcus Epps, TJ Edwards. We've got some holes to fill. Marcus Epps, I don't think his contract is going to be that large. He's going to get a bump in pay, but he's not going to break the bank. I think we could get in a situation where we could keep him. I would want to keep him. TJ Edwards, in my opinion, TJ Edwards was Pro Bowl worthy. So if you get in Pro Bowl production, you got to give up some Pro Bowl money. Now, with the situation with TJ, I would rather see him stay, but if he walks, I understand, because Nakobe Dean is ready to go. Because in my estimation, it doesn't matter who walks. I would rather keep one of them, because I would like to see Nakobe Dean and TJ Edwards play together. The way Nakobe Dean is playing, he looks like he's going to take over for Kaiser White. He's got that type of speed and quickness, so he can do that. TJ Edwards is not covering, is not his thing. Now, Nakobe Dean was the Mike linebacker at Georgia, so he's used to playing in the middle, but he's got the speed where he can play on the outside. And depending on what type of set we run, if we run 2 linebackers, 3 linebackers, it depends on what they're running. If they're going to run that 2-backer set, that means somebody's got to be in coverage. But Nakobe Dean's got a nose for the ball, so I want to see him get into the ball. What you say, Ant? Lamar could go to Tampa because they don't. You know what? All these talks is popping up again about Tom Brady going back to Miami. I doubt that'll happen. But if I don't want to see that either. Lamar going down to Tampa Bay. I do not want to see Lamar Jackson in the NFC at all. Dean is kind of short. Listen. Nakobe Dean was the captain of the defense of the national championship Georgia Bulldogs. Don't act like he hasn't seen big guys before. It's the same argument I have with people that talk about what's his name, Bryce Young from Bama. He's 5'10", he's small, and I'm like, they've been telling him that his whole life. You don't go to the toughest conference in college football and light it up, and then people worry because you're too small. They probably told him he was too small at Bama too. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All of those SEC defenses he faced, he was facing a lot of guys that were 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", with their hands up in the air on the line of scrimmage, all of that kind of stuff. You know what? You can get your balls knocked down, whether you're 5'10" or whether you're 6'3". It happens to everybody. But all I know is that kid, the 5'10" kid, was lighting up everybody. Everybody. So that's not an excuse. That's something that they used to tell us, me and athletes like me that went to small schools. I went to Eastern Kentucky. At that time, it was 1AA. So it was always, they always wanted to knock for something. Not big enough. You might be able to get away with that in your level, but you come to the big, the big leagues, the big schools, you can't do that. That's a lie. Yes, you can. You see what Kyler Murray did. You see what Jalen Hurts did. I looked up, and I actually went up and looked at this because they were talking about this last week. I looked up the 50 biggest busts. I think I may have said this last week. I looked up the 50 biggest quarterback busts in the NFL. It lists 50 of them. And out of those 50, I only found 3 that were shorter than 6'2". 3. And what that tells me is you can be 6'4" or 6'5" and suck, just like somebody that's 5'10". So I say, if he put the numbers up, and if you got tape and you watch the game and you see the ball placement and you see the way he reads defenses and getting rid of the ball on time and putting his team in a situation where they can win ball games, that's the kind of guy you want under center for your franchise. Look at the situation with the Jets right now. A year ago, wouldn't nobody saying nothing about Zach Wilson. Great pick. He checks off all the measurables. You see what happened with that. You see what happened with guys like Jamarcus Russell. Why am I blanking on the guy in was with Tampa Bay, now he's with New Orleans. Got hurt. But my point is big guys can suck too. So it ain't, you got to be able to play the position. You got to be able to play the position. Not too small. I'm saying he may be covering 6'5" tight end. You talking about Nakobe Dean? It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Anthony, Achilles Smith was on that list. Achilles Smith was 6'1", I believe. Yes, Winston. Thank you. Thank you, Vince. You can scheme that though, but here's one thing about tight ends, because I don't think Jameis Winston. Thank you. Oof. Nobody, in my opinion, and you can't. This is a nitpick, right? A quarterback drops back. If your tight end is open, you get him the ball. However, what I see is when you have a mismatch, a size mismatch, and most tight ends are a mismatch to defenses, you should be throwing the ball high. You can design plays, get them to the sideline, get them in open space, and throw the ball high. Jalen Hurts does that with Dallas Goedert a lot, where Dallas Goedert has to go up and get it. And the reason why you do that, if a tight end is 6'5", we got Goddard is 6'4", Jake Stoll is 6'5", and then we got that other kid, I think it's Tyree Jackson. He's 6'7". Jackson is fast. And I'll even go back, and you guys have heard me say this before, even when we had J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he just didn't have the dog in him. But you coming from a great set of parents, both of his parents were Olympic athletes. So I used to say, get Arcega-Whiteside in the game, and every time he goes out for a pass pattern, you tell him to go up and get the ball like he's trying to dunk with two hands. And nobody will be able to cover him. You can win that. What was the tight end from the Falcons? Algie Crumpler used to do that. Algie Crumpler, and what's the Hall of Fame tight end from the Chargers that didn't play college football? Or he played like 1 year. He was a basketball player, and he ended up getting drafted. So he used to just out jump everybody. Use his size. He was like 6'5", 6'6", and he would just box him out and jump over and go up and get the ball because couldn't nobody out jump him. I don't understand why people don't use that logic. Thank you, Gates, Antonio Gates, right? Couldn't nobody get with him. He had the body. You're not gonna put a 5'10" defensive back on somebody that's 6'5", 6'6". You can't do it. That's like trying to put a small point guard on a 6'6", 6'7" power forward, and like you got to guard him. It just doesn't work. The physics don't add up. So when you have athletes like that, we had that guy. We signed him last year, not the 22 to 23, but 21 to 22 year. We had the guy, Mohamed Sanu. I remember him because when he was in Cincinnati, and this dude was like 6'7", almost 6'8". And I'm like, throw the ball to that dude high. Nobody's going to get the ball. Tony Gonzalez can out jump everybody. Dunking with two hands. Dunking with two hands. Would you put Dean on Gates? No. You might have to. It's not about putting somebody. You gotta go with what the formation gives you. That's how the Chiefs was outsmarting us in the Super Bowl, with all of those motions and the different shifts in the formation. You get the mismatch because depending on if they're in zone or man, is somebody going to slide with the receiver? Okay, if someone slides a receiver and the linebacker is the only one on that side and the only person behind him is the safety, that means that linebackers got to cover that end man on the line of scrimmage. That's a formation matchup. That's the chess match. When you hear me say chess match, that's what I'm talking about. In the Super Bowl, we lost the chess match. That play that Andy Reid ran on us twice, both times for touchdowns. Andy Reid didn't come up with that. Doug Peterson did. Doug Peterson ran that same play on us in week 4 when Jacksonville came to town. The only difference was Jacksonville did it with a running back. The running back was the wide. He came back like he was going, he gave ground like he was going back to, he's getting running back depth, coming back in motion and then widening out so he would get behind the quarterback when he goes in motion. But right when he got in alignment with the tight end or whoever that end man on the line of scrimmage was, they hiked the ball. The cornerback that was covering him in man was already going across. So what happens is the cornerback gets caught in traffic and can't get back out there. And even if he does get back out there, you still get 4 to 5 yards worth of separation. And that's all you need. So he just took that play and just didn't use a running back, used his wide receivers. And he set it up. All game he was setting it up. How are we covering man-to-man? How are they flowing in motion? When they cover man-to-man, they got that jet motion. If that defensive back comes across, the minute he gets in the middle of those linebackers, you snap the ball, he can't get back out of that traffic. Smart play. We lost the chess match. That's where they beat us. It wasn't because we couldn't score. It wasn't because we couldn't score. Anthony, you 100% correct. Gannon did not make the right adjustments at all. That second half, we should have been playing more press coverage, put more pressure so you can make Mahomes move around a bit. And also, you had to come up with a game plan to counteract the ugly field conditions. So, and it's funny, I heard something about the groundskeeper that did the Super Bowl is the same groundskeeper in Vegas, I think he is. And Vegas is having the next Super Bowl. So they won't be making that mistake again. Guarantee you that, because that was horrible. That was embarrassing for the NFL. Listen, you got Zach Thomas was great. And so was oh my God, I'm getting old. I'll be forgetting everybody's names. Chicago linebacker. What's his name? Hall of Fame linebackers. Anyways, I'll figure it out. What's Chicago's Hall of Fame linebacker? That coached the 49ers that took his pants down. The sod father who was apparently a Chiefs fan. I don't know who that is. Let me see. Why am I blanking on all these names, man? Hubbard, Sprinkle, Richard Dent, not Hampton. Thank you, Mike Singletary. Whew. Thank you, Vince. I don't know why I'm blanking on everybody's name, man. Singletary was probably like 5'10", maybe 5'11". I would say more than 5'10". He was a small guy. Listen, you can play in the league. If you don't have the size, you just got to have the smarts, and you can make it happen. So I don't put anything past anyone. When you get to that level, Murph, I agree with you 100%, man. They should be embarrassed. When you get to that level, regardless of your size, you at that point, you're used to it. You're used to coming up against bigger linemen, bigger receivers, whatever the situation was. Mark McMillian, we called him Mini Mac. Mark was 5'8" and probably 175 pounds soaking wet. But he played 8 years in the league, man. 8 years. He was small in high school. He was small at Alabama. And he was small with the Eagles and the Chiefs. And he played 8 years. So size is that's an extra feature. It's great that you have size, but you think about there's a lot of people with the size that look at all the big receivers that can't catch a cold. So it's all about what you do with your skill. You can make up with the size. Sam Mills was another one, dude. Absolutely. Yep. Division III college. Absolutely, Vince. Good call. So listen, man, and I'm saying all of that to say, man, put N'Kobe in the game. You look at every snap that N'Kobe Dean was in the game. He made something happen. That joker in the game for like 8 plays and had 5 tackles. That don't even make sense. And we ain't talking about garbage time either. So I don't care what the size say. You got to watch the tape. You got to watch the tape. So it's a lot of things that can still happen. I think the other shoe is going to drop as far as Jalen Hurts' contract. Once he's got that contract done, once everybody gets signed, I think they're trying to wait to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, because that's going to be another floor for Jalen Hurts. When you go to the Super Bowl, when you take your team to the Super Bowl, your second year as the starter, you got a blank check, bro. I just think Howie's trying to figure out a way to not cash strap the team. And I've said this before. I think Jalen Hurts will allow that to happen. Do some of that maneuvering with the contract, however it's worded, however the payouts happen, whatever they got to do so they don't cash strap the team. Because Jalen Hurts doesn't do what he did this year without Devontae Smith, without Dallas Goedert, and definitely without A.J. Brown. Definitely without A.J. Brown. You ain't putting Quez Watkins in that role. That's another hole they got to fill. What are they going to do with Quez Watkins? I don't know. Are they going to keep him? If you want to keep him, you go ahead. He's only 24 years old. I thought he was older than that. He's still a young kid. So the possibility of him having a breakout year still exists. However, he dropped way too many important balls for me. So if not for nothing else, get somebody in there that's going to challenge him. You either bring in a veteran or bring in another young player, somebody that can match his speed, because he is fast. Don't get that twisted. He can move. But we can find some other fast free agents and get somebody in there to challenge him, because he dropped too many balls. He dropped too many important balls that could have won games or kept drives going. So we'll see. We'll see, Raj. We shall see. N'Kobe Dean is greater than Edwards. I'm not going to argue with you, but we'll see. Eagles should have some cap room. I heard the Eagles want to trade Watkins and want to trade for Ramsey and Woods. I would love to see Jalen Ramsey here because we already know that Gardner-Johnson doesn't look like he's going to stay. I'm saying that they should try to keep either Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or Javon Hargrave. One of the two. You can't keep both of them. Keep one of the two. Because let's be honest. Gardner-Johnson was out 6 weeks. I believe that's right. 4 weeks to 6 weeks. I can't remember. And he was still tied for the lead in interceptions. So let's just say that if he would have stayed healthy, let's just say he would have had 10 picks. And you would have had to pay him anyways. So, yeah, I think Hargrave is gone too. But it's Howie Roseman, man. That's the Wizard of Philadelphia. Howie will pull some stuff out of his behind and you don't know where it's coming. CJ is younger. I agree with you 100%. You don't have too many young players that are playing that well, that young. That's why you got to keep them. Philly feet. Now, listen, you preaching to the choir right here, bro. You preaching to the choir. I don't think he should have replaced TJ Edwards. I think he should have replaced Kaiser White. I think what him and TJ would have done together would have been ridiculous. But regardless of what they're going to do with him, he's ready to go now. Nakobe Dean's ready to go. Cam Jurgens is ready to go. Those are two positions I'm not worried about in the least. There's going to be zero drop off at linebacker. If TJ walks, Nakobe Dean will step in at Mike, and we'll keep it moving. If Kelsey retires, Cam Jurgens is ready to play. I've seen enough of him. And you can plug him in because what I'm thinking is if Kelsey plays another year, he still hasn't made that decision yet. I can see Cam Jurgens being moved to guard to replace Sam Allen. I can see that happen. So we got some big holes to fill, but we've got some good young players in place already that are ready to play. And most teams, you can't say that. Reed Blankenship performed. Nakobe Dean performed. Cam Jurgens, the few times he got in, like I said, he looks like he's ready to go. Now, I think they should get rid of Covey, Britton Covey, get a real punt returner, kick returner in. Although now it's special teams is just punt return because then we need to do the XFL kick return because you ain't gonna never see a kick return in the NFL anymore unless somebody wants to take the ball out from 6 yards deep in the end zone. But so we'll see what's going to happen. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of time. That's a good thing. Howie's got a lot of time. Jalen Hurts, his camp, they're just waiting. They're waiting for all the chips to drop. And all they're going to do is just point and say, that's what you paid him? You know where to start. And that's exactly what they should do. That's exactly what they should do. Jalen Hurts has set his bar. And the Eagles, Howie Roseman knows it. So that's why I don't think there's such a big push for Howie Roseman to hustle up and try to get this deal done. He knows what the situation is. Oh, come on, Maurice. You're killing me, Smalls. Crash test Covey. Listen, I want to see the Olympic kid. I want to see him get some more run because the kid's fast. My thing with him is can he come off those breaks? Straight line speed is one thing. Can you come out of a break and do a comeback, 10-yard comeback? We'll We'll see. Yeah, I want to see Devin Allen do some things. Definitely want to see him do some things. So, listen, Crash Test Covey, he for what? And I've done punt return. I didn't do a lot of it, but I did enough to know that when you do a punt return, you got to set yourself up and give your blockers time to do what they need to do, or you don't get smashed. And Covey, sometimes it seemed like he was just like a bat out of hell. Straight shot. No moves. He was just like, he would pick a destination and would go. He was getting clobbered. And he did get better towards the end of the year, but I would argue that there are much better special team returners available. So I would not want to save a roster spot for Britton Covey next year. There's somebody else that can do that and play kick coverage and put him in slot and put him in, quarters Hail Mary formation or something like that. There's too many other guys that'll run a 4-2 or a low 4-3 speed burners that you can put out there and you can make something happen. So we'll see. Brett Toth got released. I saw that. He wasn't the guy. Nah, he wasn't the guy that got in trouble for the old assault case when he was in school, was he? I don't think that was him. Anthony, I hear that a lot too. I believe it when I see it. We got a habit of they'll take somebody saying something like that and they run with it. I'll believe it when I see it. So if everybody wants to come play here in Philly, well, okay, after they sign, then we'll see what happens. So Philly. What I've been hearing some stuff. People that talk to Peter King and sources and all of that kind of stuff. What I've heard said that it doesn't look like they will get enough votes to remove it. So I think it's going to stay for another year at least. But it's funny, they want to get rid of that now because the Eagles were successful at it. They ain't say nothing about when Tom Brady used to do it all the time. Come on, stop playing with me. I don't know. I'd have to see it to believe it. So I haven't seen enough of him at a receiver position to be able to make that determination. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. We got a lot to go over. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm still watching the XFL. If you did not see the St. Louis versus DC XFL game, that was the game to watch. In my opinion, that was must-see TV. They were playing in DC. I don't know what stadium they were playing in. I'm wondering if it was like the DC soccer team stadium or whatever, but that place was lit. It was crazy. It was a good game. It was a huge fight at the end. They had beer snakes throwing lemons. It was nuts. And it was a blast to watch. And I'm like, if the XFL can keep that type of environment, they'll be around for a minute. Because you already know the NFL is cherry picking the rules and stuff like that. They are looking at it and sampling, seeing how things go. The whole thing, in my opinion, Dean Blandino is the MVP of the XFL. Seeing him up in the booth with all of the monitors, going over, scrubbing plays, going back and forth, trying to figure out, did he catch it? Did he not catch it? Did he hit the ground? All of that kind of stuff. Just seeing that thought process is worth it to me. I'm enjoying the XFL. So, admittedly, some of the games have been boring, but so was Thursday Night Football. So there's that. Everybody gets a turn. It ain't like all the NFL games are just, edge of your seat, smash mouth games. Some of them NFL games are boring too. So, Rodney, what'd you say? Cubby shouldn't even be on the NFL roster. He's just the NFL because of us. We're the only team To sign practice squad players, real game reps. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But don't get it twisted. The kids got talent. The kids got talent. So, do I think, when somebody like that makes it, or when Devin Allen, you can say the same thing about Devin Allen. There were probably guys that were better than him. Sometimes it ain't what you know, it's who you know. It's the numbers game and all those other cliches. That stuff is real. And I say that stuff all the time. Good night, Mom. I say that stuff all the time. There are so many people in the NFL that shouldn't be. And there's a lot of people that should be that never get the opportunity for whatever reason. For whatever reason. What? Hold on. Vince, what are you talking about, dude? Explain this to me. I have not heard this story. Quarterback that sold his plays to the other team in the XFL. Did not hear this story. I got to look this up. What happened? I had not heard that story. He sold it when he sold his playbook. Oh, was he creating plays? I got to look this up. That's funny to me. But all right, I'm gonna get up out of here so I can watch the next episode of Next Level Show. Even though Mark got kicked off episode 4, but continue to support him. I appreciate him coming on the show. It was great to talk to him. I haven't talked to Mark McMillian since 1994 when we played together. So it's funny how I haven't talked to him in 30 plus years, but you get together and you don't skip a beat. And it's not like we were just great friends and all like that. We were teammates. We see each other. We talk, crack jokes. I was a rook. So stuff like that. It never ends, man. Football's a brotherhood, man. So, Murph, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. So we're gonna try to keep it going and do some more things. One of the things that you did not hear with the conversation between me and Mark was I'm trying to reach out. Everybody that I get on the show as a guest, I'm trying to have them connect me to somebody else. So I'm trying to branch out. And I do got to send a big shout out to Sean Young. I know he's not on the show tonight in the chat because he's at the Maxwell Club banquet. He was invited to that, but Sean was the one that made the connect with me and Mark. So, if you guys know Sean, he goes to almost every damn Eagles event ever, but he made the connect and Mark was like, send me the information. And that's how we got the ball rolling to get Mark on the show. So wanted to give a shout out to Sean. I appreciate you, bro. I'm sure you'll see this one way or the other, but I'm going to let y'all go tonight. I will be back next week. Please check me out on A2D Radio. You can also check me out on my personal channel, Pro Fan Talk. We got some new stuff coming up. If anybody's got any ideas, got any feedback, hit me up. I'm always listening. All right. You guys have a great week, and I will see you next week. Go Birds.